Hello, this is Smislav the Slayer. I'm going to be doing another live Blitz chess game commentary. We're in the queen pawn opening, and whenever white plays e3, I always like to play bishop to f5. I'm going to go ahead and play bishop to g6, otherwise his queen can get kind of active and capture towards the center. Just play e6, solidify everything. Here I'm going to go ahead and play c5, trying to undermine his center a bit, I guess. Not sure if it actually works that well, but it's going to play knight to c6. Probably bishop to e7 next. Maybe knight to f6. Actually, knight to f6 next. The reason I was thinking bishop to e7 is because of a g5 push, but that's not that good. Okay, I think I can give him an isolated queen pawn, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. C takes d4, then knight takes d4, he plays e takes d4, and then I play d takes c4. And so then he's got the isolated queen pawn, which I think there's been a lot of pieces traded off already, so I think I'll be able to take advantage of that pretty easily. I already got a little bit of pressure on it, and I think trading off queens is fine for me, and I'll actually capture her with the king, because the king on d5 would actually be pretty good in this position. Let's see, do I have to go right back? I think I do. So maybe I should have played the knight. Eh. I'm going to go ahead and play knight to e4 with the potential to trade off this bishop, and also I can play maybe not f6 right away, I guess, but at some point. See, I'll just take that. So we trade off the rooks. I actually kind of want to play rook to h4, but I don't think that's actually that solid. I'll play bishop to d6. Now I can trade off this e5 knight. Now he castles. I'm not sure if castling is a good move there, because basically we're in an endgame, and I probably should have played to the light square. I want to bring my rook over here, though. Actually, my thing's trapped, isn't it? Oh, jeez. So the knight's trapped, but he didn't see it, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and play f6 now. He just takes. I guess he just didn't see that. I think he could have trapped it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Excuse me. Maybe I was just misseeing the position. So here at a5, I'll take this pawn, and then I'm going to be up a pawn, I think. It's the end result of all this. And bishop to c5 is not possible because the knight's there. Bishop to d4 doesn't work as well because my knight is protecting that f6 pawn. It works pretty decently, but not great. So now we can play knight takes that, and get the rook behind here. That's probably was his best move. I'm going to go ahead and trade those off. Now my rook's in a pretty solid spot. Just play g5, and we can march this pawn up. My king's actually in a good spot to protect against, to keep his rook off the squares the king needs to. So actually this endgame looks pretty good for me. I'm gonna go ahead and play yeah, here's what we'll do. If he plays rook to there, we're gonna get my rook behind the pawn, which does let his king get down here, which is too bad, but okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and put get the rook there. Then I'm gonna play maybe king to f5, and then maybe king to e4, possibly with this e6 or something. I'm not sure. Okay, so um, huh. Okay. Well, the one thing I'm noticing is that my king is cut off from his pawn, whereas his king isn't, so that might be a problem. Go see what happens here. Um, okay, now that's not as much of a problem at all. In fact, I can just play king to f6, start marching my pawn down. And now he's in a zugzwang of sorts. I'm not exactly sure. If he moves his rook, he loses this pawn, which might not be the worst. If he moves his king, I think that would be worse, because then I can get, yeah, so he's going to lose his pawn. And now my king is in a pretty decent spot to get, I think this is like the Lucina position, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but my king should be able to basically get this pawn promoted. I think I do want to cut the king off. That's White's king. So now we go here, then check, then we go here, and then, I think he puts this thing here, and then we put the pawn up again. We do it one more time. So, okay. Not sure if that quite it does it. I don't think that actually does. And the idea is I'll get my rook to that rank, I guess. Now he's currently on that rank, but I don't think that matters. So how do I want to do this? That row, actually no, I should need to go over here. Go here, here, and then put my rook on this square right here. And okay. Yeah. So now now he's done, basically. His king can't, or his rook can't interfere anymore. So now hopefully he doesn't make me play it. He might. We'll see. There's not gonna be much commentating. Okay, he resigns. So that was a pretty decent game. We got into an isolated queen pawn position, and then I just an endgame. Yeah, and I think actually this taking with the king wasn't that great. I should have taken with the knight. But for him, I think probably c4 wasn't that great of a move either. Although here, actually, I think he could have played c takes d5, attacking my piece. And then if I played d takes c5, he could play c takes d4, and we both have isolated queen pawns, and that might have worked out better for him. But as it is, he had the isolated queen pawn, and I think, let's see. Oh, now, excuse me. Here he actually, my knight was trapped. I was thinking it could go to the g5 square, but it can't. So he could have played just actually now rook to d1, or rook to f4 actually, rook to e1. Sorry, rook to f4, and that would have been bad. I probably would have lost then, but he didn't. So, and then this endgame is pretty straightforward. I don't think he should have offered to trade off the bishop. Being a pawn down, that doesn't seem really like a good idea. The bishop can be a little bit better at defending than a knight can be at attacking. So, and then here I almost got into trouble, but I think I got good at king position. So that's not really. I mean, I think this could be a draw, definitely, but I'm not. I don't know. It seems pretty good for black at this point. Just because of the way everything's positioned. So, yeah, so I think that was a pretty good game there. All right, thanks for watching.